First, I want to hear the story about the Swedish meatballs with your father, and I'd like to hear
Is
that.
Is it working now?
It's working.
Oh. Do they know who I'm talking?
I'll label it. Yeah, you don't have to introduce yourself.
Okay, all right, okay. When my wife were first married, we went down to my mother and father's house for dinner. And my mother made the traditional Swedish dinner of Swedish meatballs. So as we were traveling down to my parents' house, I was coaching my wife and telling her just what to say so it would impress my mother and father. And I told her that she should say, please pass the köttbullar. And so she said, all right, I understand. So when we came there and we sat down at the table to eat, and she nudged me and she says, is this the time to say it, and so forth and so on. We were eating, and I said, yeah, this is a good time. I said, you go ahead and say what you're going to say. So she says, Dad, would you please pass the bullshit? And my dad had a mouthful of food, and he shot that out across the table, and they laughed and had a hilarious time. And my wife sat there and she almost started to cry. She didn't know what happened. And so this has become a sort of a traditional story whenever we talk about Swedish things, or people come from Sweden and so forth.
Yeah. And what else were you saying in Swedish before now at the dinner table? You were actually conversing us a little bit in Swedish at the dinner table, huh?
I kan inte tala svenska mycket.
Ja.
I can talk a little bit, but not too much. And but I can say a few words, but it wouldn't help me too much.
What do you remember of your, for example, if we start from the top, from your Aunt Olga? Anything at all?
Aunt Olga, I remember I was in her New York apartment when I was a small boy. My mother took me to see Aunt Olga there, and she had a very fabulous place. Apparently she had money, and she lived very well. But that's about all I knew of Aunt Olga. Aunt Tikla, I was never out to her home in San Obispo, California. But she did come to Chicago once or twice, and I have talked to my cousins, but that's about all that I know of them. Anna Corn?
Anna Corn, yeah. Did you
Anna,
know that you were related to Anna Corn and Roy
Huh?
Corn? Did you know that you were related to Roy
Yeah.
Corn?
Now Anna Corn, I have the most connection with her, because if it wasn't for Anna, we would never have had a Christmas. My mother and father were rather living on a very, very meager income. Didn't have much. We had a Christmas tree that my dad would go out and get real late on Christmas Eve, and we would have candles on the Christmas tree. And we would put all kinds of paper ornaments on, string popcorn. But the best thing of all, when Anna would come, and she would bring 2 or 3 boxes, and when we opened the boxes, they were all full of Christmas presents, all wrapped up in gift paper and so forth. And
You remember the Cracker Jacks?
that was Cracker Jack.
Huh? You remember the Cracker Jacks?
Yeah. I used to work. Yeah, I used to work
You
for.
had Cracker Jacks from Anna Corn sent to Sweden.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. It's like a popcorn with the
Yeah.
molasses on
She
it.
used to send that.
Yeah, but I worked right next door to the Cracker
Did
Jack
you?
company on
Oh,
Cicero Avenue.
oh,
Yeah,
really?
there I used to work for Kellogg Switchboard and Supply.
Oh.
And,
So you didn't need Anna Corn for Cracker Jacks? 'cause you
I
had
didn't eat
them.
Cracker Jacks, no. But she used to live way up on the north side on the lake. And when Charles and Roy were small, we used to go up there and we used to go out and play on the beach and come home and so forth. And Charles became an attorney, and Roy, of course, became a doctor. And sorry to hear that she had passed away. I didn't know that, but she surely lived to a ripe old age.
She was right in there too, and up until 93 about then.
Yeah. She was very, very cordial and very. She wanted to help all the time, and she always bawled my mother out for. She says, "Anna, you come anytime you want to," and she says, "You bring Kalle."
Yeah.
That's me. See? You bring Kalle along.
Is this what she said?
Kalle.
Anna, you come to me anytime you want to, and you better bring Kalle, because if you don't bring the boys, I'm going to get real angry with you.
That sounds just like Anna.
And then when you were playing down on the beach, did she always come out and call to you?
Come up the back way.
Yeah.
You
Come up
remember
the
that
back
one?
way, Kalle.
And do you remember
Don't
also when you rang the doorbell when you arrived? You remember her coming out and going,
Who is it?
Yeah, it's quite a
That's the
bit.
greatest.
Here,
Anyway.
you better take that.
Yeah. Do you remember anything about going to Sweden when you were 3 years old?
Well, all I can say is that when I was about 3 years old, my mother and father took me to Sweden. My dad was a Methodist minister, and we took a leave of the church and we went over there. And when I left to go over, I could speak English. And they tell me that I was singing on the boat. But when I came back from Sweden, I couldn't speak a word of English. I only was able to speak Swedish, so I had to learn it all over again.
And what was the little children's song that your mother sang to you?
Oh, Rida, Rida, Ranka, hasten heter Blanka.
Very good. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Carl.